Howdy, everyone. The Tao Te Ching, verse 3. Putting a value on status will create contentiousness. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. The sage governs by emptying minds and hearts, by weakening ambitions and strengthening bones. Practice not doing. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. Now, if I'm going to elaborate any further on this, let's start with putting a value on status will create contentiousness. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. There are some things along the way in my life that have meant a great deal to me. Some of the things that mean the world to me are autographs, memorabilia, things given to me. I am a sentimental person. I can't just look at something that I have in a frame and more or less like allude to others. Oh yeah, it's nothing. Because to me it means so much. And I'm not one to, let's say for example, Yvonne de Carlo autograph. Those have been given to me by her son. I've shared with those, pictures of a few things online. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But they mean the world to me. And I take pride in them. And I like displaying them. And I like telling people the stories behind them. Practice not doing. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. Yeah, it does. If you look at your life, you'll have examples of where doing for other people, everything around you just kind of settles into place, whether you were focusing upon it at that point in time or not. By letting go, you're able to allow the Creator to take over. That is within you, and everything kind of settles into place. With skipping back a touch, I had given away some things that mean a lot to me, not in hopes of any sort of a gain or a return, but with letting people know their value within me and my heart, not just, in a financial matter of like autographs being worth money or, whatever. I've given away jewelry and, a lot of different things that mean a lot to me. Practicing the art of selflessness, I'm trying to not place so much value on things. I've also been trying to give away things that, I've been open about with their value within me. But because those people that I had been giving them to, even if at the time only, they had meant the world to me, and I wanted to give them something that also meant the world to me. Basically, giving a part of myself. I don't think we need to give away all of our possessions, especially the possessions that we hold near and dear to our heart more than other possessions. I think it's nice when somebody knows that you hold a little trinket or something that means the world to you and they know the stories behind it and everything. I think it's nice. Maybe they'll value that just a touch more. Knowing, like, some little thing may not mean a whole lot to somebody else, but when they understand how much it means to you, maybe it would help them understand how much they mean to you. By displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. By not displaying versus displaying. I think when it comes to some things, I get it. I don't want people to steal from me, let alone something I hold so near and dear to my heart. And I understand that if I allow people to understand what some things mean to me, it might cause them to have a thought in their head of, I should have that. Whether or not they give it to me is neither here nor there. I don't think stealing is right on any level. But I really don't think stealing on a level of someone that and, they just want to take something that they know is of value and importance to you and everything, you know, I think that's something within them. Now, whether or not they know that they're that type of a person, and we would typically refer to that as, being a crappy person that's going to go and steal from you. But I think there's also the other side where they just want something that's important to you. And they may not know any other way at that point in time to receive something of a gift from you. So they might feel as though it would be wise to take it. I also think at the same time, while we're supposed to learn from things, and it's not always a reflection of who we are, with what you're seeing outward. Like, I'm an honest person, but I know around me there have been people that are very much so in way of dishonest. That doesn't mean that I'm a dishonest person, because I'm having encounters with people that are, the opposite of my level of honesty. And unfortunately, I have a pretty high level of honesty. I think the whole thing, like I said before, and in the previous, that you're to appreciate and learn from and grow from your contrast, because there is the duality, of all aspects of life. There's good, there's bad. Um, I think too that when it comes to someone stealing something that's important to me, and I'm not saying anyone has, I'm just saying, like, I think in that situation, I'm to learn from it. I also think that what I'm supposed to learn is to not hold so much value on material possessions. And I think that's, got a lot to do with this particular verse, of which I keep calling it a passage. Um, because this is kind of like a Bible, dude. I understand that we shouldn't hold value as much as we do to our earthly possessions, be it autographs or guitars or CDs, posters on my walls and ceilings and paintings that I had done in high school you see behind me. I'm proud of them. I'll give you an example of something I'm proud of, which might not be for the best, but this particular painting behind me, it took me a half an hour, and the lighting is not that good. I'll show you at another point. It took me a half an hour to put the frame together with 4 pieces, stretch the canvas, and paint over it. So from start to finish, building the frame to stretch canvas and painting was a half an hour. And it turned out so amazing to me. I'm really proud of that. Because I wasn't really in the mood to do any artwork that day. I was an art major in high school, and that's what we called it, in upstate New York. You were an art major. Um, Dude, I just wasn't in the mood to do anything, and I had to do something. So I'm like, screw it, let me do this. And it was quick and easy. Doing something with nature just was able to flow out of me, very, very quickly. Later on, as you can see right there, these little flecks of white, that's bird poop from a cockatiel that I had had. And I love that bird. He was so awesome. I don't know how he ended up, you know, flying up to the top, and right there at the very top, he was resting, and just sitting there the one day. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he just lifts up his back tail feathers and he just pooped. I'm like, oh my God. I just made that, you know what I mean? And it's taken on a whole nother life for me because that bird died afterwards. Um, Little things, little stories that you can add to something, they mean a lot to you. Now, I'm not supposed to hold things dear. I'm supposed to let things go. You know, you don't have to give away everything. And I feel that if you have people in your life surrounding you that are equally as honest and understand the importance of these little things to you, that's just a crappy painting. But it's a painting that I had done. And there's a story behind these pieces of bird poop. Well, if somebody's going to steal that from me, it's because they want something, and it's not necessarily the painting itself. Would I, in the end, come to terms with this to accept it? Hopefully. But hopefully I wouldn't have to deal with that. I think we should feel pride in displaying little things. Yeah, I couldn't really talk. That mean a lot to us. You know, I don't think we should have to hide everything that means something to you. I don't think we have to give away everything that means something to you. There's a lot of verses in this book that, like I've said in the previous, they they kind of strike a chord with me, maybe it's my own teenager's mindset still within me with little pieces where I'm like, dude, that's wrong, and when it comes to acting and everything else. But with my own artwork and, like various autographs and, signed CDs or even just CDs that have a special place in my heart, or anything that I have that has a special place in my heart. Why shouldn't I feel pride to display them proudly? Why should I have to hide everything and act like it's nothing? Why shouldn't we have the right to display things and talk about what they mean to me and you? If anyone understands what I'm saying or sees it a different way, let me know. I mean, like I'm saying, I understand that you shouldn't place importance on things that are important when it comes to the minds and the eyes of others, because you'll just end up with having them stolen. Just because I'm an honest person and I like to hang out with people that are supposed to be near and dear as well, doesn't mean that they're as honest as I am. I've learned that along the way. But I've also learned along the way that things, maybe it's only because I'm a Taurus, I don't know, but some things hold great sentimental value to me. What if we're allowed to keep things that mean a lot to us, display them proudly, share the stories of our own meanings behind them all, without having someone be so vain and bold and crass and all the other negative words you might associate with it to ultimately take it? What if we're allowed to have things and cherish things, display them, educate people on to, why it means something? Do you think we're supposed to give things away if it means something to us? Do you think we have to give something away if it means something to us? Where, let's say you got a pair of earrings from your great 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 grandmother, and they've been passed down to you, and family means everything to you. Is that something you should be all like, oh, wait a minute, that means a lot to me? That means the world to me. That should mean I have to give them away. Do you really think that that's what this means? I think not. I think it means understand that some people might not be as honest as you are, and you might not want to say something so much of like, oh, you've got to see this. Because people are just messed up. We lived in a um, really a world that's full of dishonest people, and that will do all they can to show you how trustworthy they are. But I don't think it means that we have to hide everything away. Maybe I'm wrong, dude. What are your thoughts? Am I looking into this particular verse in a wrong way? And what are your thoughts on any other meanings that could come out of this? Is there a way that I could apply this to myself a little better? Some of the autographs that mean the world to me are not only just with Yvonne DiCarlo, um, my china. I think China means the world to me. And being, she really liked my whole XOXOX. She put on for me as well. So there's little things, I'm like, oh, and I've got a story behind it. I don't want to give it away. I don't want someone to steal it. What are your thoughts on what it means? Can I look at this verse another way? And what about you in your own personal life? How would you translate this particular verse to you and yourself? Because I think that would also help others, not just myself and yourself. I love you, babies. So what if we live in a messed up world with people that are dishonest and just want to steal from you for whatever reason they feel they wish to? May God bless us all.